Hello guys, and welcome back to another Skullgirls video. I know it's been a long time. It's been 2 months since another Skullgirls video, but I'm back now. I will explain my reasons at the end of this video. So in this video we're gonna see the new update patches in Skullgirlsmobile 4.3. So yeah. Now I'm recording this way after the update, so there's gonna be some different things that have been fixed. So first, the new thing that they added is the fighter catalog. And this one, you can see that you can check any missing fighters that you have not had. So you can check if you have all the bronze, all dark elements, or even Pacific fighters. So I'm just gonna use fire element as example, and as you can see, I almost got every single fire element. And the water element, I don't have too much, like about half of it. But yeah, this new cool update just shows you like what you have and what you don't have. So that's really cool. Alright, so next up we're gonna do some of the Pacific fighters that have been changed in general, whether it be their ability or Marnique ability. The only fighters that ever got changed are Big Ben, Eliza, Philia, Miss Fortune, Robo Fortune, and Painwheel. So we will go through the Pacific fighters that have been changed. Alright, so the first one is Blood Drive. Now Blood Drive has the ability, it's not unlocked yet, but I've unlocked it as is in this recording. But anytime she affects bleed on her opponent, she also affects bleed on herself. And anytime she uses a blockbuster, that bleed on herself will turn into enrage, which is really good. This makes her much more better than the previous patch because that didn't happen. Alright, next up is Mummy Dearest. Now before in the patch, Mummy Dearest, every time she used a special move, her teammates sacrifice health for her to gain blockbuster meter. But in this one, she only sacrificed her own health, so in that way your teammates' health won't go as down as it was before, so that's pretty good. And that's all I have to really say. She still gains blessing, which is really good. Fully upgrade second ability gives her 60 seconds of blessing, which basically means she can use special moves anytime basically. Next one is Robocopy, and this one it has two changes actually. So the first one is that once per match, when he's almost about to die, he gains 3 stacks of armor and barrier for 10 seconds, and he also gains 2 stacks of enrage and 2 stacks of enrage for 30 seconds and 25 blockbuster meter. Now I believe the blockbuster is still the same, but the enrage is doubled compared to the previous patch. Alright, Meow 3OW. Now this one I have not fully invested in, but I kinda did. So her new one is that she gains invincibility when away from the opponent. She will gain invincibility for 6 seconds after being far away from opponent for 3 seconds. Before, you had to fire a head drone just to gain invincibility, but this time you can just be away from your opponent and you still gain invincibility, which is way better than before because you don't have to do the extra work. And this game really needs you to do extra work, but balance, right? Okay, so I don't have this fighter yet, but next one is Megasonic. And before, he only gains enrage when he blocks an opponent attack, but this time he has thorns when he blocks an enemy attack. And also, while benefiting from rage, 25 of the damage that is inflicted will be regained as health, so he can basically just thorns you if he hits you. Next one is Feline Lucky. Now this one is more of a neutral patch rather than a buff or a nerf. She gains the 4 classic invisibility, well, the light elements buffs, which are immunity, invisibility, final stand, and unflinching for 50 seconds. But the difference is that before the patch, she had to hit a critical hit, which had a 2% chance to get those buffs for 30 seconds. But now, anytime a fighter hits a critical hit, that 2% is still there. However, since that is the case, she only gets the duration for 15 seconds opposed to 30 seconds in the previous patches. So it's much more balanced, I suppose. Okay, Blue Bomber, this one got a real buff. So anytime she uses any beam or energy attacks, there's a 25% chance of hitting armor break, and this time the duration is longer. And not only that, if she uses a tier 3 blockbuster, she gains way more health and 5 stacks of barrier, which is really cool because that means you can use that self-destruct blockbuster and you can still get health back. So now we move to Philia, and there's no particular Philia, it just goes for all Philia, but the Leech Marnique ability, it allows her to regain more health than before. So I guess she didn't gain much health with Leech, but now she gains way more health when using Leech, which is it's just a change for all Philias. Not every single Philia is going to be beneficial from the Leech ability, but yeah. Oh yeah, one last thing. This one isn't really of a patch ability, it's just more of a visual one. Inner Pieces Eliza, her blood color and her staff color, they changed to the appropriate reference she is to another games from Lab Zero. Alright, so now next up we're gonna talk about the Rift Battle changes. This is one of the major changes in Skullgirlsmobile. Now, the first one is that you can pick any opponent rather than relying on the rating and the defense system that you decided on your base. So basically, you can pick any opponent. So I can choose this opponent, I can choose this person to fight, and I can even choose this one. You have the ability to do it. You don't have to worry about the ranks. You know, gold can also fight other silvers and things like that. As far as the rewards go, it seems like the same thing, except the only difference is that the rookie ratings, before you would be a rookie if you had below 1050 rating points, but now you just at 1000, you stay as a rookie. And the rewards for the gold, diamond, silver, and bronze are all the same. There's not really much of a change. The only thing that changed is the ratings. Alright, a new feature is that you have a defense history. Now this defense history tells you whether you lose or you lost. And if you lose, you can check how it is. And for example, my opponent beat everyone in one attempt. So for that, you can still check what they use to defeat your team base. And even if you win the base, you can still check what your opponent has done. Now, if you do lose your base, you can actually revenge the opponent, which I believe if you do, it will cost 1 rift ticket, so keep that in mind. The win streaks, they stay the same. Actually, no, never mind, this is a new thing. So the win streak is that anytime you win another person's team base, your rift base will get a bonus. So the first streak you get 10 more % of attack, the second one will be for HP, and then goes on and on and on. The same thing for rift coins, you also get more rift coins if you have a higher streak, so keep that in mind. However, you can see right there, it says your streak will be reset when a battle is lost or when the 12-hour timer expires. So you won't get this forever. You just have it for 12 hours. Alright, next up is a really big change on how to make a good defense. The structure of your base is completely different. Before the patch, there were excuse me. There were four solo base, two duo bases, and then three final bosses, so to speak. But this time you only have two solos, two duos, and two trios. And as far as modifiers, they change every season, which is every week. So every modifier changes every time. So you have to go back, look at the modifiers, check the fighters that work well with the modifiers, and then you can just maybe pick this same fighters as you would do in every week. So what I like to do is that for the final one, I would like to put Killjoy there because she can revive the fighters that actually benefit from the modifiers. So that's really cool. I forgot to mention that for your opponents, you can change your opponents every 2 hours for free. So if there's an opponent that's too powerful, you could change it every 2 hours. Alright, next up is prize fights, and the big one is that Fuqua prize fight is now finally available. I believe she's the last fighter to be available, so you just have to wait for it. So her silver modifier is called Food Coma, and it says that when defeating an opponent, gain 5 seconds of regen and 10 seconds to suffer fatigue. No, gain 5 seconds of regen for 10 seconds and suffer fatigue for 5 seconds. You may think that sucks, but really fatigue only costs stun for 1 second, and you gain 5 seconds of regen for 10 seconds, so it's not too much. You still survive. This one is a little bit tricky. It's called Fog of War, and it says after 2 seconds while on the opponent's side of the stage, gain 1 stack of miasma for 50 seconds. When reaching 5 stacks of miasma, suffer fatigue for 3 seconds and remove all miasma stacks. Now the only way I can see you can combat this is to either A, be on your opponent's side but have immunity or resistance, or B, go on your side and let your opponent come in. They can get miasma, but remember fatigue is only for 3 seconds, and fatigue has a 50-50 chance of inflicting stun on either yourself or on your opponent. So that's the best way I can think of winning the modifiers or combating them. Just stay on your side, let the opponent come to you, and you should do well. Another big thing on the gold prize fight is that anytime there's a character prize fight, you have to pick at least one type of character that Pacific prize fight is alluding to. So for example, since there's a Fuqua's prize fight in its gold rank, it says that you must have at least one Fuqua on your team. This goes the same thing for a gold prize fight if it was Philia, Squiggly, Eliza, Big Bear, Peacock, etc. Alright, so the next thing is relics, and this is just a visual change, is that anytime any relics are available, they change in the home page. So you can see there it changed from premium to bronze move relics to the silvers and then to the gold. Fuqua is now available and the relics in general. Of course, not the character Pacific ones, but she's still in like the premium and elemental ones too. So, that RNG where you try to get her, but it didn't work. Yeah, that's no longer an issue. She still has her own relic, but it's not too bad. Alright, so like I said, I'm recording this after a couple of relic events or prize fights. So this one I believe was the 4th of July one. So enjoy these relic openings. Alright, and now for the final update in Skullgirlsmobile 4.3 is the mission control. So the big changes that they added are two things: deployments and accolades. I have no idea how you pronounce it, but first we'll do the accolades. Anyway, they have 5 sections, and those are combat, collection, advancement, story mode, and events. Now each one has a different objective to do. So for example, the story mode requires you that 100% all story modes, 100% all expert story modes, and there's even like treasure gnomes. Events, they have to do with daily events, so get a certain amount of trying to think, character skill points, and even rift battles. And the last one is deployments. So for this one, you can send a specific fighter, any fighter. I'm using Big Ben example, and they will gain XP, and even you can get bonuses. Now the duration just determines how long it will take for them. So you got 15 minutes. One of them is 60 hours, and then the other one I believe is 4 hours at best. So for example, here I can send Feline Misfortune, and you can see right there the little yellow line that determines the percent of bonus you'll get. Now while those bonuses are good, if you deploy a fighter, you cannot use them. You can see right here that Misfortune is blacked out. That means that she cannot be used at all in any fight, even prize fights, daily events, and I believe it goes the same for rift battles. So again, it comes with a risk, and so just choose your decision. Alright, that is the end of this video. I'm very sorry, I had some personal issues in my life, so that's why it took so long just to get a video out. I hope you have a good day, and thank you for watching.